And I will refresh everyone in what I just shared with earlier. But
Yeah, because that diagram you've never showed us before, and that was like aha moment.
right. Well, just for simplicity purposes, let me just share the screen again, and I'll show you the diagram once again.
Okay.
And let's go here. All right. This diagram here, if you can see it, it's kind of the breakdown of how these things flow in that capacity. So you have
Yeah.
arbitration that converts into an M3 asset. The M3 asset is being used to take care of public obligations. So public obligations are rendered through 1096s, 1099Cs, and 1099 OIDs. That's all on the DTC side of the security settlement system. Now, that value that's in the DTC side can be put on a ledger like a 990 PF and be conveyed through a 1098F and a K1. Once you're moving it in this capacity, now you're on the DTCC side. This is where your UCCs come in, and this is where those insurance forms come in. And it's a two-way street when you're dealing with LEIs and GLEIs because they already have a monitoring system. So that implementation replacement guide is they're replacing the old system with the new system.
Now, my question is how do you get a GLEI? We have our LEIs. How do we get a GLEI?
All right. If you were asleep before you was awake, quote unquote, before you came into this knowledge, we'll say you were asleep. So you didn't even know you were being monetized as chattel paper. So when you woke up to the fact that you're being monetized, you're foreign. So when you do all of this, the LEI is what you use domestically, and the GLEI is what you use globally. So when you got one, like when you go back to my file, I have a LEI and a GLEI.
Right.
Because when I set my company up back in 2018, they already monetized it because it was done in Scotland. So the whole while they've been monetizing and writing securities all for Diversity Holdings Limited. I just started working with you guys, so I'm just kind of just returning the favor now. I'm trying to balance the books now. And I use my own to show you how it's been perfected.
Okay, that makes sense. Can you, when you just said you're utilizing the bond already in place, so that's
right.
That's the bond number would be.
That's why when we do
LEI
arbitration,
number, right?
that $300 million indemnity bond is because it's already being hypothecated through an LEI and GLEI with other entities globally.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So hopefully it's all starting to come together for a lot of you guys.
Yeah, that's all.
Any other questions for me?
That's
all you got?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You can put yourself back on mute. Let me see. I'm gonna go down the line. I think I got another person that's got a question. Trey, if you can hear me, talk to me, man.
So I was following what you were showing. So if you type my name into that same system, my name will pop up because I created a LEI for my name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to update some of the information or add, some of the financials that needs to be added to that system, how is that done? Because that was the question that I kept asking you a couple of months ago. Is I don't see where
you see this. You see this form. Can you see my screen? Am my screen still being shared? Right.
Yeah, I see something says process overview.
Right. What was your question again?
What forms do I use to update the information?
Give me a scenario so I'll tell you what form.
Let's say, for example, I was adding my own bond or certificates or financial
Okay,
statements.
so we're gonna add a bond. So keep that energy. Here's a list. I'm finna go down to my list of forms that you got. This is the list of forms right here. See my screen, right?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna call out the highlighted ones, and you tell me which one you think you need to use. Form number 1 is for property and loss notice. Form number 3 is for liability notice of occurrence or claim. Form 22 is for intermodal interchange. That's for trucking. Form 24 is for certificate of property insurance. Form 25 is certificate of liability insurance. Form 27 is evidence of property insurance. Form 28 is evidence of commercial property insurance. Form 37 is a statement of no loss.
Which is
Form 54 is a financial responsibility form. Form 75 is an insurance binder. Form 125.
That puts them all together.
Okay. So technically, right. So what you do is you look through this index to find what forms allow you to convey that value from one ledger to the other. Because when you use this form from Accord, you're directly tethered to the DTCC.
Now that form you were just showing us, that's something that you sent us, or was that part of the financial material that we need to purchase?
Which form we're talking about?
If you go back to the highlighted items you were just showing me, isn't that above that? Isn't that an actual form? That part right there, a core form index.
Go online, type in Accord form index. It'll pop up. Download it.
Okay, I thought it was inside that.
Yeah, not this one ain't. The other one is. The other one is the one that the implementation guide. Yeah, I gotta give you that one. You gotta purchase that
one. Okay. And this form is called what again? Accord form index.
Yes, it's in the forms index. It tells you, it gives you a list of all the forms. You got Chat GPT. Chat GPT will give you a list.
Okay.
Nobody asked the question yet. What form do I use to report when these folks won't show me their bonds? I just read a couple of them to you, like professional liability supplement. That's 187. Here's where you get the lawyers jammed up. Form 833. Form 831, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. If you say that form in the public, somebody might come see you. There's a trick on how to do it. But Form 831 is professional specialty insurance notice, incident, and claim.
Mm-hmm.
Now, certain notaries can get it, like some of you guys that are already gone through the notary training in your state, like a very good friend of mine, she went and got certified in her state for her notary, so she could actually get this form by making an inquiry. So notaries who are in good standing with the state can actually require the state to provide that form. But a civilian, like, all right, what I'm saying is not legal advice. We're just having a conversation. Put that disclaimer out there. When you want to report someone violating their oath of office, you need to be making a claim, and all that stuff you're making a claim need to end up on an 831. And if you don't have an 831, ChatGPT will draft you one.
Okay.
I hope that
does
was
that
enough.
Does that include police officers?
That does.
No, I know a clerk of court that needs to be sat down.
Right. Exactly. Yes, that includes anyone who's bonded and insured. See, they know you don't know what form to make a claim, so that's why they're so quick to trample over your rights. But when you know what form, don't tell them, just record it and watch the sparks fly. Like I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say this. There's a part of the story about my UCC that those who know me know what happened. It's no secret. I was on a vacation as well. And when I was on my vacation, somebody decided they was going to touch my UCC while I was incarcerated, and they're now doing 20 years. The institution filed an 831. Because I was incarcerated, they had to do that on my behalf because I was not physically able to serve in that fiduciary role. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you like it happened yesterday. One day I was out on detail. They called me in. We need you to sign something. And I'm getting ready to go home. No, you just need to sign something. That's how it went. It wasn't until I got out. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You finish.
I was going to say it wasn't until I got out that I realized, oh, okay. That's what happened. Now go ahead.
So with this insurance binder,
right,
that means that we can take multiple items and actually that is the binder. That multiple items creates that binder for that particular book of business.
Let's look at the form. You want to see the form? You want to see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's look at the form. Okay. So let's look at the form. So we go here. I gotta go into my magic screen. Hit my magic screen. And I should have a folder with these forms in it. Let's see if it'll pop up. Not going to be in the music folder, but it will be in the document. Sure.
I have a quick question. Looking for that. When I send this KYC over, I'm sending it back to your email, or am I uploading this into the website?
You're sending it back to my email, or send it back to, if it came through the software, then send it back to the email from which it came.
Okay.
Follow? If the software generated, then send it back. What form are we looking for now? What's the form number?
The insurance binder. Form number.
You know what number it was?
Where is it? Oh, hold on, I'm looking now. I think it's 216 or 75. It was 75. 75.
Okay, let's look at Form 75. All right, we'll open it up in Ocular. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can see? Okay. So you're going to put agency information, company information, binder number, phone number, fax, description, type of insurance, general liability, claims made, occurred. This is if you're dealing with automobile, auto physical damage. Garage liability, excessive liability, umbrella, and other. Then you got workers' comp, employee liability. Then it has special conditions and other coverages. You put all that information there. They got mortgager, mortgagee, loss payee, additional insured. You got your cash value, deductibles. You got your coin percentages if we're talking about property. Yes, for those of you that got gold and silver, this is why I'm glad I said let's look at the form, because this is how you monetize your gold and silver in the safekeeping receipt. You're going to need this form. So by me showing you this form, pretty easy to fill out, right?
I mean, it's straightforward, but when you're talking about You're talking about private indemnified policies or bonds where it's still able to perform, right?
This company binds this kind of insurance stipulated on the reverse side. This insurance is subject to terms and conditions, limitations of the policies in the current use by the company. This binder may be canceled by the insured by surrender of this binder or by written notice to the company stating when the cancellation will be effective. This binder may be canceled by the company. Keep that keyword company. So who is the authority over
We're
this
the company.
form? Okay.
Well, we're the company. So this is the part of the game that you were saying that the lenders will be concerned about if we end up canceling the policies, insurance for collateral.
Right. You got to understand that the standard debt obligations, you're like 100 years behind in how commerce really works. So when you get a credit card, you don't know all this stuff is being done in the background.
Right, back office.
The mere fact that you're using the keyword accord, which is a crappy name. I give the devil his due. They call these forms accord, which is short for accordance.
Or being on one accord.
All right, here you go. So whenever these forms are picked up inside of the commercial system, these are access points for reinsurance and insurance. DTC, Depository Trust Company, DTCC, Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. One sets it up, the other one knocks them down. One makes a deposit, the other disperses. These forms is how they move back and forth through insurances and reinsurance. Any other form you want to look at while I got this up? See, I need to have a class on the form, but I got to get you out of your own way before we can do that. But I'm ready. As you can tell, I am very
How about that?
eager.
Wait. I gotta find it because I wanted to know about that no loss. Where was that at? Where are you at?
Statement of no loss. That goes with the this is gonna be for the 1099Cs. You do a 1099C, that means the debt's been canceled. Then that technically means nobody can claim a loss. And that should be form. Let's see.
It's 37.
That's gonna be 37. Form 37. So we go to form 37. This is 28, 54, 37 right here. Stop. And this is basically what it is. This is gonna trip you out right here.
Liability notice of occurrence claim. Okay.
See the form?
Yes. And that's about it. One page.
That's it.
So it's like that 8,300.
And we use that with our GL policy, right?
There you go.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So when you have a policy and you're ready to leverage it, you're going to produce a statement of no loss. That means your bond is free and unencumbered. Oh, it gets interesting. This thing is going to get in a whole different direction in just a minute. You keep asking the right question. I certify that there has been no losses, accidents, or circumstances that might give rise to claim under the insurance policy whose number is shown above. From 12:01 a.m. on dot to blah, 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 blah. This is interesting where the witness and date. Who you think make this bulletproof? What kind of witness? Who you need to put on that witness?
That's That's your commercial witness, your notary.
There you go. Ding ding. Notaries, if you got this in your journal, you can monetize this policy.
So this becomes like a. I mean, I know we always use the word sandwich, but this becomes like another sandwich, or this goes.
This is like how you move it through. This is how you pull it out. This is how you use it. It's a form for everything. Hold that thought. All right. Give me a minute. Let's get it together. All right, let's see here. We got. All right. Hope you guys are learning something. All right. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions?
So, is there a specific set of documents when we're pulling it out? I know you were saying that there's a certain way of kind of, with the transmittal letter and the money transmittal bond and letter of credit at the end. Is there like a similar thing that's to put in? Is there a similar thing to take it out?
Is there a
the criteria of documentation? Like when we're transmitting, we use a transmittal letters to kind of give the information to put it in. Mm-hmm. Is there a similar type of number of documents or a sandwich, as we called it, to pull it out?
Let me explain this the best way where you'll get it. I reduce my process to 3 documents. That don't mean it might not have 20 other documents that somebody else got to put with it. I just reduce my process to 3 documents.
Gotcha. Okay.
It might take 30 with one person, 20 with another, 10 with another person, 120 with somebody else. But I'm only dealing with 3 documents.
So do they supply the other documents that's required, or do they just tell you what it is that you need and you draft them from there?
When you go under, like when you say they, let's clarify they. Who are we talking about when you say they?
They would be the corresponding party, whether it's a seller of a property, whether it's the
no. The seller. Listen to me real carefully. It's gonna blow your mind. But you're the smartest person in the room. If you're in this class and you talk to anyone else outside of what we're talking about, you're Einstein. So make the process as lengthy or short as possible. People in the public who don't have financial literacy, they're used to filling out forms.
Right.
There's no number count. Like with me, it's my mouth gets me in trouble. Like I hate dealing with the public to a point where if you're not comprehending what I'm saying, you probably never gonna get any paperwork from me. because I feel it's a waste of time. If I can't explain it to you, then this is why we do arbitration. So let's say it a different way. If I'm arbitrating the case and the notary has done X, Y, and Z, I can tell you how many forms are going to be used based upon what you're telling me in the evidentiary hearing. I'm not allowed, quote unquote, to hear the case before I hear the case. So the notary is interacting with the case or the documentation of the case. So you can determine, like, for example, typical trust run about 44 pages. A creditor's return is about 74 pages. So that's 210 pages. An average cost is about $3.50 a page. Somebody take a calculator and add $3.50 times 210.
$734.
All right. So all of those documents, if I take them into the public, they're going to charge me $3 a page to upload it into a UCC profile. Now, being put into their database don't give the paper no magical power because we're the substance. You're just putting them on notice. It's just they have charges per page for data, like you be charged by the minute with your data. They charge you by the page. So, for example, follow me for a second. I'm going to get a little techie, but it'll help you. I'm going to go to DealStream. Yeah, it's about to get real. All right, we're now in DealStream. So let me just D. So I'm gonna go down to DealStream to the part of the page where they have funding sources. Toggle on funding sources. Now that I'm in funding sources, I'm going to pick the type of funding source I want to look at. Let's see. We want to deal with financial assets. Okay. This is a pretty good example. All right. So what I'm about to show you is a live deal and how it can quickly be monetized with these forms. Now, again, this is just for demonstration purposes. Don't try this at home. Just pay attention. Okay. Share the screen. And before I go into this, just a refresher. Whenever you're using the insurance forms, you're dealing with the what? DTCC. So make that synonymous. When you touch this form, you've officially crossed over into the DTCC. Let that resonate.
Okay.
When you see this symbol, you are now dealing with the DTCC. If you don't see this symbol, you're on the DTC side. Got me?
Okay. Do they share the same EIN numbers?
Listen to me carefully. The DTC, DTCC, CD company, they got their own, they playing their own music. I'm just trying to show you the flow so you don't get confused in what I'm about to show you, so you know how to see the accounting and work it. So associate this symbol with the DTCC. All right. And the DTCC is conveyances from a foreign perspective. Conveyances from a foreign perspective. When you put it on this form, you're able to use it domestically from a foreign perspective.
Okay.
Don't get confused. Just write it down. Go back to this class about 7 more times. It'll make sense to you. All right, and I'm going to stop the share and go into what I'm trying to show you. Now we're going to choose the whole thing. All right. Now, see my whole screen. Now let's go to deal stream. You see my screen where it says deal stream, right? Purple banner at the top.
Yeah.
All right. I like this deal right here. For example purposes, I'm just picking this deal at random. Just going to toggle on it. See what they talking about. Looks like this is some sort of public shell, financial asset, want 28 grand. Let's see what it's about. It says this one here is one of the ones downgraded by OTC, blah, blah, blah. All right, watch this. Pay attention. This is for the folks that's going to say, Mr. Bay, if you don't know what none of this stuff is, you don't have a degree in financing, you take this deal and you copy it. Just like that. Then you go to ChatGPT. Just like that. And you say, you are a stockbroker. Or I'll say, yeah, stockbroker. There we go. Don't want to get all fancy yet. You are a stockbroker. Can you summarize? I spelled it wrong. This inquiry. Using robust and legal details. And I'm going to use a spell checker. Summarize. I'm going to put my colon down there in my bracket. Now I'm finna copy and paste the deal. I don't know what they talking about. I want to know what they talking about. Now, if I did this right, I should get a result. D. And the inquiry pertains to a company that was downgraded by the OTC, stands for over-the-counter market, and the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, for non-compliance on September 30th, 2021. The company, along with others, was eligible for reinstatement under the corporation rules of the state where it was incorporated. The reinstatement was carried out during the Delaware reinstatement statute. A lawsuit was filed in Delaware court. The judge entered the judgment. The plaintiff, who is the author of the inquiry, is listed on the judgment, confirming its legitimacy. The Delaware Secretary of State accepted the judgment as the law on the case and reinstated the company. Now, the SEC's Edgar Division also accepted the reinstatement, and upon a buyer coming in, will issue a new paraphrase to the plaintiff. To bring the company back to pink status, 3 documents and an application fee needs to be filed. The company has records of shareholders, but legally only 200 shares issued in the treasury are recognized. The buyer would take it from there. The inquiry likens the situation to buying a used car at a repossession auction, or a house that has been foreclosed on for tax or mortgage payment for mortgage payment reasons. In both cases, the previous owner no longer has any rights to the property. The plaintiff acknowledges that the buyer would need to pop the hood and get dirty, but emphasizes that it will be a fun project for a buyer's company. The buyer could potentially fix up the company and resell it for a profit. The plaintiff invites the recipient to call for details, to offer to provide all of the paperwork, which was completed with the assistance of the over-the-counter super lawyer. The lawyer's name and office address are on the paperwork listed in the name of the company at the Delaware Secretary of State, serving as proof that the inquiry is not a scam. Now, let's say this sounds good. Now, watch this. I type a little slow because my eyes ain't what they used to be. But pay attention because you just might learn something. I want to fund this deal, but I want to do it my way. So watch this. You are a compliance officer. I'm going to tell you that your name is Bazell. Hold on. Secured party creditor. All right, and there's some provisions that I want to do this LBO up under, and the provisions are right here in this document. I gotta find it right here. Is under this statute right here. This is the statute that I want to use. I want to use Title 31, United States Code 1304. Some of you saying, what the hell is that? You should know what that is by now. And also, I want to use D. right. Da 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 da. I'm going to say, can you draft me a response under these pretenses? Now, I'm interested in the deal, got the inquiry. Now, I'm assigning the chat GPT as a compliance officer named Bazelle Bay as a trustee of Diversity Trust. And I'm saying, can you draft me a response under these pretenses? Now, if I did this right, I should get a response. I put my name in there just to show you it can be done from any perspective, but you guys get the gist. Not only do you get the gist, if I critique this response just right and send this back to our gentleman who made the inquiry, we'll probably get liftoff. Why did I show you that? See, understanding certain aspects, you're no longer locked out of asymmetrical things when you understand the fundamentals. Because outside of what we're talking about, they use asymmetric information to isolate and insulate and protect themselves. I like this part. It says, firstly, I would like to clarify that Title 31 United States Code 1304, subsection A3A pertains to the availability of funds for the payment of judgments against the United States. Similarly, 31 United States 38 pertains to the set-off and debt owed by the United States. It's important to note that these statutes are primarily applicable to federal governments and its agencies. Well, if I'm putting it on an accord form, doesn't that fall up under that guideline? Let me say this slowly. If I use those statutes which pertain to the availability of funds for payment of judgment, didn't he get a judgment? The inquiry pertains to a company that was downgraded through by the over-the-counter market, the SEC, for non-compliance. The company, along with others, was eligible for reinstatement under the corporation rules of the state where it was incorporated. The reinstatement was carried out under the Delaware reinstatement statute. A lawsuit was filed in Delaware court. The judge entered the judgment. So, using this statute pertains to the availability of funds for payment of judgments against the United States. It said, please provide the following information to facilitate our review of detailed information of the target company, including information. So I just in a short period of time, and again, you guys see a whole lot better than I can see and type a whole lot faster. You can get a whole lot of synergy done when you know the fundamentals. Now, this gentleman here, if I were to send this back to Deal Stream, he'll be blowing up my phone immediately. questions? Matter of fact, these are some of the guarantors that's in the space. You guys are familiar with Go Capital and North Avenue, but these are some other gentlemen who are waiting eagerly to be contacted. See, there go Tony right there. See, there you go. He's there. He's already in there. I'm showing you this because, look, the LEI system that working with the DTC is in full effect, and because we are based directly here in Florida, we can hand walk your documents directly to Dun and Bradstreet. It's right down near the mall there in St. John. You just got to know what forms to fill out.
So this part that you're speaking about, this is pertaining to like the trust credit score, or is this something beyond that?
Your phone broke up, so I couldn't understand what you were saying.
So this part about Bradstreet. That more so being able to file so that you can have a particular credit score, or is there something more to that process?
Keep in mind, if you want to get a much better credit score, there's a couple of documents you can file. They all are dealing with UCCs, but like what I did with Diversity Limited, anyone can do. It's not something that's conventional. I used Chris to put this together. When Ian registered Diversity Holdings Limited, he used the DUNS number. This is why the LEI system went in, when they replaced it with the new system they got now, it was already being monetized. What, that's 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it was monetized in 2019. Debt ain't debt because it's been on the book for what? 90 days. I got some slightly seasoned things I can do because it's over 3 years old. So all these cases that I arbitrate, I'm able to recycle this $300 million indemnity over and over and over and over again. But it ain't no fun if I'm the only one in the room doing it. Can't do it with myself. So the ability to convey credit, transfer credit, is all tied into that LEI system. What's going to happen, you guys are probably going to have to watch this video a couple of times. Go back through your notes. Now, I have specifically, and I'm just going to, since I'm sharing the screen and we're having a powwow where I'm sharing the screen, who has trouble getting inside of the stuff that I post on Spotify? I had somebody that contacted me say they couldn't get Spotify to play or something. I was like, that's weird. You just press play. I don't understand. But I put a lot of content out this week. A lot of content. And, I know what it's doing. It doesn't like it when it's being shared. So I did stop the share. No, I didn't. I did stop the share. All right, so let's close this because it's not liking all this extra attention I'm giving. All right. Okay. All right. You do know that if you hit the feed button and you come down to the bottom of the screen and you don't see something like I don't see something right now, you keep scrolling, it'll come back up, it'll catch up. You keep going. Let's say you go down because I've had somebody tell me this too. Mr. Bay, I didn't see what you posted in the feed. I was like, did you go all the way down to the bottom of the page? Yeah, I went to the bottom of the page, and then I didn't. It cut off at a particular date. Well, if you keep going, like I'm going, and I'm scrolling, I should come to the end of the page eventually. You see at the bottom, you see that little tab? If you go down to it, you'll see that thing that says what? More events. Toggle on that. And then you'll get the rest of what you missed. Now, all of these links, especially the ones that say Blog Talk and YouTube, even though I'm gonna live, because like even if you go back, this is something playing on it now. That might not be playing anymore, but it's still playing. I'm looking at everybody's IP address, so I know who's actually listening to the broadcast, who's looking, and who's not. That's how I'm keeping track of 690 hours. It will be to your benefit to go at everything. Like this class we did the other day, that's in this queue. One of them I did, and you guys couldn't get in, so we ain't gonna count that against you. But any of the block, like here, all right, here's the Spotify. If you toggle on the Spotify, now again, I'm doing this on the computer. You guys can't see my screen, I don't think. It's gonna bring me to a Spotify playlist, and on the playlist, there's gonna be a play button. And it's gonna have everything, the most current episode all the way to the oldest. Just go through them if you haven't heard something, and toggle on it and listen. Because if you listen long enough, you'll learn something. Everything that we talk about, this AI is creating content from it. And it's all related. It's just relatable on different levels, but it's all the same information. I deduce the concepts to fundamentals, insurance, reinsurance. We're going to use. It don't have to be 3. I'm just using 3 so we can talk about it chronologically. To see, we start getting to, well, should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know. Should you? Who are you dealing with? How competent is the fiduciary on the other end of this transaction? How do I know whether he's competent or not? Action to produce the last 90 days CTRs. If he freaks out and runs out the office, not competent. If he's honest, I never heard of it, but I'm more than willing to learn. Working with something. If you want to be assertive, then just assume everybody don't know what you're talking about. So give them certain forms to fill out so they'll feel comfortable while you just take over the transaction and do it. Because creditors implement. Creditors put everybody on notice. Debtors are waiting around for a magic piece of paper to come to tell everybody what to do. Any questions? All right. I don't see no hands being raised. I don't see nobody saying I got a question. Okay, I see somebody because I was just finna say, all right.
So we can couple that. We can couple the Accord with GSA.
Of course.
And then add the insurance binder.
Right. Right. Hold that thought. Got a question coming in. Go ahead. Go ahead before I go to the next person. Go ahead.
No, because I was going back to I was going to circle back to the judgment fund. Because the code that you were using was from the judgment fund.
Yep.
So we have to insure the judgment fund.
No. I use that verbiage because I'm interested in funding that deal.
And that's how it's pulled out.
That's how I'm going to convey the energy from my ledger to his ledger. It's in a judgment. It's already in the CRIS. I'm going to use that statute to move it.
I got you.
When he provides me the information is being put on those forms for execution. All right, let's see if we got, I think I got another question here. Let's go to Miss Bess. I got your hand is raised. I'm seeing if you got any questions.
Yeah, I'm honest. I tell you, I'm lost in the sauce, so just keep on going.
Okay. All right, all right. Let's see here. All right. You good, Trey? No more questions?
Oh, oh no, I'm fine. Like I said, for me, it's I guess where my brain is trying to get it is I understand the things that you're teaching. Where I'm getting kind of mixed up is like not just implementation, but just like visualizing how that process goes from beginning to end. You know, so I mean that's just a control thing.
Yeah, it's just all you're doing is putting the documents together and handing them to somebody else. That's all you're doing. Most of my conveyances go through the court and to the IRS. You know, there's never a wizard on the other end. It's like, oh, great, you got your documents together. I'm ready to. It's never that. I always appear to be the smartest person in the room, which is scary. And that's not to brag. That's just the reality. And see, when they have licensing and they bonded and insured, they're supposed to be smart. Just we're supposed to be on the same level. See, when they sign the insurance form, not only does it put everybody at ease, they're gonna start asking questions to their mentors, like, I got this insurance form and I need to turn it into liquid. Can you help me? And they'll be like, sure, send it over. You know, remember, the person who wants the remedy, they don't want to know how the car works. They just want their car working. They don't care what you got to do, what kind of wrench you got to use. They just want it to work. And that's usually with all of these professionals, that they want to know. See, you don't have to pre-sell insurance. Insurance predates the stock market. You don't have to know how the stock market works. But since you have a security background, isn't there an application you fill out to become a market maker?
With FINRA. With FINRA.
Yeah, you know what form it is?
Not off the top of my head. I know you know.
Homework.
So complete that form.
I mean, we ain't gonna do it halfway. We're gonna do it all the way or go home. Like, you do know that when you take all your documentation to someone and how they make it go from point A to point B is it ends up in somebody that has that application on file?
Say that again?
Okay. If you are moving things outside of the Security Exchange Commission's jurisdiction, you're now in private security land, right? When you're dealing with private securities that's not regulated, you're able to move those things through what? Insurance. When you're regulated by the Security and Exchange Commission, you're able to move those things by insurance. So let's play the word game. Which insurance do you think in your head is genetically engineered for the private sector? Is it insurance or reinsurance? What's genetically wired to work with the private sector? Insurance or reinsurance? It's like me asking what came first, the chicken or the egg. Let's say it another way. If insurance is substance and reinsurance is form, if substance is the private and form is the public, then which format should you be in the private?
Insurance.
All right. So listen to me carefully. If you got money that's owed to you that you haven't received, that's considered unearned revenue, and unearned revenue can be insured. You fill out the proper insurance form. Now, what's owed to you on a ledger can now be used on another ledger as an asset at the same time. Now you take that and go find a lender who's willing to convey that M3 asset to an M2. If they know how to handle the reinsurance, hand them your paperwork. If they don't know how to handle the reinsurance, then take it to your local court. If you listen to what this class is saying 7 times before you call me back, you probably will learn something.
So
you will learn
the accord form.
Mm-hmm.
So the accord index form is the first thing, and then it would be one of these insurance documents.
Let's go back to the diagram. Yeah. Keep talking. I'm gonna bring the diagram up one more time, and I want you to look at this so you'll get it. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Some people say, "Well, I'm visual, Mr. Bay. I gotta see it." Well, damn it, you finna see it. All right. See this diagram. Everybody can see it, right? Everybody who's been unmuted, you can see it. Let me know, acknowledge. Yeah, I see the screen. See it? See the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you want to move value, you got to start with the top of this right here, which is what? It got to be arbitrated. Arbitrage. All right, so if it's in arbitration, it's going to be moved in the format of an M3 asset. An M3 asset can be moved towards public obligations. Why do I say public obligation? Because you're going to say, Mr. Bay, I want to buy a house. I want to do this. Call it a public obligation. We can do this all day. You don't say that. I'm trying to find out who the hell what you trying to do? Who are you? You got to clarify that, because clarity is everything with implementation. If the ordeal has been arbitrated, it's now in an M3 asset format, which can be conveyed to public obligations. And it's going to be attached to forms like 1096s, 1099Cs, and 1099 OIDs. When you do that, you're now on the DTC side of the Treasury. That's why you're able to put all of this into your local clerk's hand. Now, when it gets to how do I use this value? I know how to file this stuff. How do I use it? Well, simple. You got to first put it on a ledger. A 990 PF is a what? A ledger. Now that you got it on the ledger, you got to give them an instrument to move it. That's your 1098F and also a K1. But guess what? If you have been paying attention, and again, before you call me, listen to this class at least 7 times, because I promise you, I'm gonna come back to this, and I'm gonna listen to you say what happened was. And I'm going to listen. I'm be all right. Now, what form you going to use? When you get to the DTCC side of it, that's where your UCCs come in. That's your ones, your threes, and your fives. And that's where you put it on the insurance. Once it's on the insurance form, it goes both ways. And it's going to be looked at in an LEI and a GLEI. LEIs are domestic. GLEIs is international. Hope you guys learned something.
Do you get to determine whether it's national or international, or it's
You're outside of the United States taxable jurisdiction. Are you foreign or domestic?
foreign?
Okay, so your action in commerce determines who you are. So to answer your question, you determine that. How you move will determine whether you are a slave or not a slave. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Look, I am open. Tomorrow is Jumar. Got some stuff we got to run down, to the good old state of Florida. Happy holiday in advance. Even though I'm not going to quote unquote be in the office technically will be open. You got any questions, feel free to call, leave a message on the voicemail. Someone from our staff will reach out to you. It's kind of up in the air right now because I'm in the middle of some closings, doing some transactions, but I need to get everybody who is already a loan officer with Gold Capital. Let me just show this to you. So you'll get this. Oh, my screen is still sharing. Okay. All right. This is the automated software. These are the grantors that have all agreed to fund whatever goes into this portal, and the list is growing. They're waiting on your documents. So when you get any information from Apex Capital, Loan Disc, that's the software tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, we're ready to fund. Where's your paperwork? And it's going to go all the way down a list of various different things that you need to do. It's going to literally go through that entire, this entire layout that I just showed you. It's going to do all that for you. Now, some people's process is going to be a little bit different because there's no two people in the system that have the exact same scenario going. But if you are a loan officer with Gold Capital and North Avenue Capital, I need to get a list of who has done what they need to do, like send all your paperwork back, like they got your payroll straight. You know where your broker, you know where your commission check gonna go. You're fully engaged, so we can start. Because I got a lot of people in queue that want stuff funded, and I'm only one person, and I'm working it as best I can, as fast as I can, with the folks that have their stuff ready. So if you're trying to generate some revenue, that's what I'm saying to you. You need to raise your hand. I think, Trey, you already done give me your resume. You're already in there. So I'm not talking to you. You're just going to be one of the many that's going to get this opportunity to get in. I need you in that portal is what I'm telling you. I will give you my credentials so you can log in and start pulling these things down and start monetizing them. Now, you can't go in the portal and start pulling your stuff out. That's not how that works. Let me say this so you're clear. I don't need you using my credentials to go approve your own deal. That's going to get us all in trouble. I didn't think I had to say that, but I said it.
No, I was never. I was trying to let you be my yeah.
I'm saying it for the record. So if someone does that and get booted out the system, you know why. You know what happened.
Dr. Bay,
But yes, ma'am.
I have a serious question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that I can put before LTD Family Trust to stop them cold in their tracks?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things. Like, let me show
Because
you
they
this
still
form.
haven't played the UCC1.
Right. So so you missed the part was talking about making it viable. So let me show you this form right here that you use. Now this is an Accord index that I'm finna show you, and I'm finna give you the forms that you need to fill out to stop everybody in their tracks. Because you got a UCC, you need to now put it on these forms for execution. Now, I'm not gonna go through the whole lesson, but I'm gonna say because what you're facing, you need to get an Accord form number 1, an Accord form number 3. And for all of these individuals that are feeling froggy, like they want to leap and take your property, you want to add all their information on this form 831.
And it's still an Accord form.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, where do I get those from?
Offline. Like type in Accord form 1, it'll pop up. Accord form 3, it'll pop up. Accord form 831, it'll pop up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and warn you about 831. That 831 is a whistleblower form. They gonna see you coming. So just go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to draft you an Accord form 31. You'll get the same effect.
I'm writing this down.
Accord form number 1, so you'll know when you look it up what you're looking for. Number 1 is for property loss notice.
Okay.
Form number 3 is a liability notice of occurrence, and it's your claim. That's your UCC. You're enforcing a UCC because you got a liability against the state. You're making your claim on the 3.
Okay.
And then the 831 is all the people that's in your business that ain't got no business in your business.
I know which one to put on there first.
That's how you stop them in their tracks.
Now, will I get these forms once I serve them to them, or they go to the IRS?
Attorney General, IRS, Sheriff Department, whoever will listen.
Okay.
Start with the AG first.
Okay.
Because once you contact the AG, now I do not normally tell anyone publicly to lean up officials. So listen to how I'm saying this. Contact the AG office first. And then after you contact the AG office, you can see my screen, right? Can you see my screen?
Barely. Okay, wait a minute. I got it. I had to enlarge it.
If you see my screen, I got my cursor down here on this form called 833. And 833 is for what?
Lawyers professional liability section.
After you talk to the AG, then you start putting all those lawyers on this form.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anyone who show up at the door, they get an 831 too.
No, I'm gonna make you laugh. They gonna see that sign that I just bought and posted in the window with a gun that says "I don't dial 911."
Okay, that'll do it too. That'll do it too.
I don't dial 911.
So that's how you stop them in their tracks. For you to engage in any conversation, they got to provide you their bonding information. They don't provide you their bonding information, you fill out this form and make a claim.
Okay.
All righty.
Can I ask a question?
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Trey.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So, what if it's a situation where, like the AG or the district attorney, and they're all really good, close friends, and they're making it more difficult for you as a private person? Does that mean that you would have to lane up everybody, like even the AG?
I'm gonna tell you a story. Had a student one time, had a lawyer that played him dirty. Come to find out, not only did the lawyer play him dirty, the lawyer played everybody in his family dirty. It was so dirty that this lawyer went to the extreme of embezzling money out of my client's dead wife estate and had an affair with the client's sister who sold him out. So this is how I stepped into the case. My client was being petitioned in the state of Georgia to have to come up with $259,000 and money that was owed to the estate that the attorney embezzled. My client was distraught. He was panicky. He thought it was the end of the world. He lost his wife, his son in the process, and he's facing all of this. I'm leaving some details out to protect the innocent. Well, we got down to what you just asked. Mr. Bay, what can I do? These are lawyers. They all in it together. I said, everybody's bonded and insured. So fill out this Form 831. What's this Form 831? I don't have time to explain it. Just file your UCCs and attach it. And he did. And boy, he got pushback. Everybody calling him. He getting stopped by the police for no reason. Everybody just trying to pull him into but he never wavered. Now it's showtime. They finally scheduled him a hearing. Now remember, he owes this debt. I told him you got to come in with clean hands. When you go to Washington, D.C., all courts go to D.C. So you go to D.C. and you deposit your indemnity bond and pay off this $259,000. Now, when you do that, there's going to be a chain reaction that happens. And so when he made that payment, guess what happened to the attorney? Well, now the rabbit got the gun. Well, they say, well, since you're the attorney, how on earth did this account get so out of balance? We need to look at your books. So they conducted an audit. Lo and behold, $35 million in UCC fines and claims were implemented. So it's insurance and reinsurance. And when you do the accounting, do the math, and indemnify your claim, this system doesn't care. It'll eat its young. They disbarred this attorney, and they went after his bond.
So the insurance company had to pay the fine?
The insurance company said our insurance only cover him up to this amount. So we gonna sue him for the rest of the amount that you suing him for. Because we ain't liable. We wasn't the one that stole from this client. He worked for us. We're sorry. So when it comes down to insurance, everybody who's bonded and insured, you need to have your insurance. Let them know they rear-ended you and you making a claim. And here's the doctor bill. Handle it. Mr. Bay, they don't have any money. Well, they got bank accounts. They got insurances. You're thinking about it the wrong way. That's what insurance is for. Leverage it. Well, Mr. Bay, I need to buy a house. I need to buy a car. Well, use the insurance money that they ain't paid you yet in the form of a K-1 and insurance form and go do what you came to do. It ain't your baby to rock. To protect the innocent.
I have a concern.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying to protect the innocent, this is just storytelling time. I'm just telling the story. That's all. To protect the innocent. Go ahead.
I have a concern about the AG.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, she's non-Mellon, and she's a supporter of her boss and her other friends.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll do justice?
It's not about justice. It's about they are bonded and insured to collect taxes. So when you tell them your complaint, you're telling them that there's money that was made in their back door that they didn't know about. So it's not adversarial. They don't care about nothing but themselves. As long as they're not in the hot seat, he or she is going to implement collecting taxes from that sale of that real estate. And then when they realize, well, it really wasn't, what you want them doing is fighting with themselves and leave you alone. And that's what you're going to do when you sit the attorney general on. And the attorney general said, well, you sold the property. Where's the money? And then they're going to say, well, what had happened was. It's like, well, okay, well, we just going to lean and levy. And, you can't have too many accidents before the insurance carrier drop you.
Okay, but I'm speaking about the third-party buyer, not the bank. The bank done backed out of it.
Yeah, because when lawsuits come, the bank is out of the picture. This LTD is liable, and LTD is the same people. That's why the bank jumped out, because there ain't no bank.
I wondered why they were still using the case number that was originally signed to the bank. They did not bring suit against me themselves.
Because there isn't any, your mortgage insurance paid the debt a long time ago.
Well, we know that. And I need to tell you, the mortgage, the Eagle Title went out of business.
Of course.
I did tell you, I got to get with the insurance department.
Right. Yep. Just make your claims, indemnify it, and then hold everybody accountable. They don't think you have a remedy, so use their arrogance against them.
I know.
See, it's one thing to file a UCC. It's another thing to send an insurance claim to the Treasury. That's a whole different level of leave alone. See, you need to tell the U.S. Attorney General, and then you tell the Florida Attorney General. Let them hash it out. Because when you make that claim to the U.S. Attorney General, they're going to get in contact with the state Attorney General. You tell the United States Attorney General that there was a sale and money was made and they didn't tell them about it. And then watch the sparks fly.
So you want me to tell the U.S. Attorney General first?
Yeah, and then tell the state. And then let them know that and then let them know that I'm just putting you on notice. It's going in the paper tomorrow. Putting it in the paper tomorrow. And if anybody don't owe this estate, they need to rebut it, and like you can technically put it in the paper that they owe you. If they don't owe you, then they need to rebut it. And they got to rebut it with an affidavit, which they won't. It'll stand as fact. Not only will you get a judgment, you already got it arbitrated, but you can get a public judgment when you put it in the paper.
Okay.
So first thing first, AG, U.S. AG, local AG, put it in the paper, and then anybody who show up, slap them with an 831. They won't mess with you anymore. Because when your insurance will start working, and they'll back away. That's how you guys. It's a battle of attrition.
Right.
And as long as you got a pen and a piece of paper, you never run out of bullets. You never run out. They got to violate you just to do what they're doing. But that'll work. Look, I appreciate everybody's time and energy. I got to switch gears. Got a couple things I got to do before I get prepared for Jumar. Look, I appreciate everybody's time and energy. Catch this class in its entirety. At least listen to it 7 times. Remember, if you listen long enough, you definitely will learn something. And with that, I'm going to say peace and love, family. Peace.
And we appreciate you. Peace and love.
All righty.
Okay.